For 92 years, the World Cup had a velvet rope. Only the biggest, the richest, the most established football nations got in. Everyone else, they watched from home. Every 4 years, decade after decade, the same clubs, the same flags, the same faces. And then 2026 happened. FIFA blew up the format. 32 teams became 48. 16 brand new spots opened up. And suddenly, countries that had never set foot on a World Cup pitch in their entire history were packing their bags for North America. But here's what nobody is talking about. It's not just that new teams qualified, it's which teams. Because some of these stories are genuinely unbelievable. We're talking about a nation smaller than most cities, a team where almost nobody was born in the country they're representing, and a football federation that didn't even exist 30 years ago. So let's break them all down. 4 first-time qualifiers, 4 completely different stories, and 0 boring ones. The New World. Before we get into the teams, let's quickly explain why any of this is even possible. The World Cup used to have 32 spots. That's been the limit since 1998. Europe got 13, South America got 4.5, Africa got 5, Asia got 4.5, and the smaller confederations, the Caribbeans, the Pacific Islands, Central Americans, they mostly fought over scraps. This meant entire regions of the world were basically locked out. You had to be elite or you weren't going. Full stop. 2026 changed that. FIFA expanded to 48 teams, and suddenly Africa gets 9 spots. Asia gets 8. CONCACAF, that's the Caribbean and Central America region, gets 6. Up from 3.5. The door didn't just open. Someone took it off the hinges, and 4 nations walked through it for the very first time. Country number 1, Uzbekistan. Let's start in Central Asia, because Uzbekistan qualifying is genuinely strange if you know the history. Here's the thing. Uzbekistan only became a country in 1991. Before that, they were part of the Soviet Union. And the Soviet Union absolutely had a football team that went to World Cups. So in theory, Uzbek players had been at World Cups before, just not wearing their own flag. When the USSR collapsed, Uzbekistan got independence, got their own football federation, got their own national team, and then spent the next 30 years nearly qualifying. Always close, never quite there. In 2026, they finally did it. They came through the Asian qualifying group with South Korea and Australia, 2 nations that go to World Cups regularly, and held their own. In practice, it means a country of 37 million people is going to a World Cup for the first time under their own name. For Uzbek fans, this isn't just football, it's identity. Country number 2, Jordan. Jordan's story is a little different. This one is about patience. The Jordanian national team has existed since 1949. That's 75 years of trying, 75 years of qualifying campaigns, heartbreaks, near misses. They came close a few times in the last decade. They actually won the Arab Cup in 2021, which was a signal that something was building. But the World Cup kept slipping away. In 2026, they finally broke through. And when you look at where Jordanian football was 15 years ago versus now, the infrastructure, the domestic league, the coaching, it's a completely different picture. Here's where it gets interesting. Jordan beat Saudi Arabia, Australia, and South Korea in their group phase at various points. These are not small names in Asian football. Jordan didn't sneak in, they earned it. For a country that's dealt with enormous regional instability for decades, this World Cup qualification is about more than football. The national team is one of the few things the whole country rallies around. And for the first time ever, they get to watch themselves on the biggest stage on the planet. Country number 3, Cape Verde. Now we're getting into the stories that feel made up. Cape Verde is a tiny island nation off the west coast of Africa. Population, around 525,000. That's roughly the size of Kansas City, and they just qualified for the World Cup. How? Diaspora football. This is the strategy that's quietly changing the game for smaller nations. Tons of Cape Verdean people emigrated to Portugal, France, and the Netherlands over the decades. Their kids grew up playing football at high levels in European academies, and Cape Verde went and got them. Their squad is full of players born in Lisbon, Amsterdam, and Lyon, who chose to represent their ancestral homeland. In theory, this sounds complicated. In practice, it's a completely legitimate and increasingly common path. And it works. Cape Verde beat Cameroon, a 5-time World Cup country, in qualifying to take top spot in their group. They didn't squeak through. They dominated. They are the third smallest nation by population to ever qualify for a World Cup, and nobody saw them coming.